Hello and welcome to my video. In this video, I will be sharing a formative assessment for a 5th grade science class. But before we get started with the assessment, I would like to note that the information gathered for this video is based on in-class observations. The curriculum, although centered on Common Core requirements and objectives, there is an emphasis in math and science, and how formative assessments are conducted through various platforms. For example, Edpuzzle, literature circles, Flipgrid, writing journals, Freckle, Prodigy, amongst others. The assessment process for this lesson, plant vernacular system, can be summed into a two-step process: a multiple choice reinforcement activity and labeling scientific model. Once the lesson has been given, the student is scheduled to revisit the lesson through a different platform, which is Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is an interactive video lecturing website that allows for teachers to design their own content or use someone else's materials as a form of review. As the student goes through the reinforcement work, the student is met with several goals to continue to the next piece of information. The assessment is designed as a multiple choice assessment. However, there is no time limit. In addition, the information is intended to be fractionalized to permit the student to work independently in sections at their own pace. As previously mentioned, the segments are followed by a series of multiple choice questions. However, the student may answer, skip, or continue watching the video if it's in its entirety without penalty. However, there is data being gathered, much as time of login, areas missed, lapse time, areas attempted, and of course, if the student successfully utilized the multiple choice questions to get to the next piece of information. The vocabulary assessment is complete once the student creates and submits their own drawing of the scientific model without assistance during class time the following day. This model is filled in with scientific vocabulary words. I see myself using the same approach. If I can provide students with the reinforcement activity through multiple choice subdivided sections, where I can see how the student performed after the lesson and the manner in which they handled the material, and finishing off the assessment throughout a self-drawn colored labeled model for scientific vocabulary. I think it's a great process to ensure not only word knowledge, but word consciousness. Currently, Edpuzzle is used for science only at the particular school and class that I am observing. Like I mentioned before, for other areas of study, Flipgrid, Freckle, Prodigy are used daily, depending on the focus of the lesson for the day. Using Edpuzzle would equip me to see how the student is managing the material, if the individual explanations, the workable barriers the site provides, and how challenging the work is at any time being dedicated to viewing and working on the reinforcement. Obviously, this approach is a direct reflection of the distance learning to try to close the gap between students. Those who know the material feel accomplished. Those who perhaps had a bad day and may get a chance to close the gap of their cognitive overload. And those who are struggling get an opportunity to take their time, not feel pressured to test themselves and skip to the next portion. As a whole, I think that at this point we have a great source to be able to give us how students are managing not only their time, but how they're managing the material without any pressure, and also allowing us to still have the information necessary to adequately assist students, especially students that may be struggling with language learning. Thank you.
A la noche del camino.